Edith and David, and I'm also a college student at the University of Southern California, and I'm just here to listen.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Edith Vega, I'm the Southeast area representative for the mayor's office. I'm here with David as well. I cover the area of south of the 10th freeway to the 105 and Vermont to Alameda. So happy to be here and looking forward to a collaboration with all of you.
I am David Price. I am the senior field representative for Mayor Garcetti. I cover specifically the southwest area for the mayor, which is I'm Edith's counterpart on the other side of Vermont, south of the 10 freeway, up until about the 105, and then over until about La Cienega. I also serve as the youth pastor at First AME Church of Los Angeles, which is right there on Western and Adams. And I grew up here. I went to Bourbon Day High School. I went to Henry Clay Middle School. So I split time from the east side at Florence and Compton, and at my grandma's house on Imperial and Crenshaw.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I grew up at Mount Tabor Missionary Baptist Church, which is on 66 and Western. So my time in the city has been all throughout. When Carnell reached out to me, I basically told him, I said, listen, man, my mother was one of those moms who would, excuse my language, but beat the hell out of me if I was in the streets or doing anything. She did a marvelous job allowing me to get a great education. And so I've always found that there to be a gap, as the brother was mentioning, about those who are doctors and lawyers and all the amazing folks who've been able to attain a great education. It's always been a gap between those folks and folks who didn't have that opportunity, right? And so I'm just pleased to be here to bridge that gap and to figure out ways together how we can do that. So,
what this group is about is that it's really trying to make change. At this building right here, when voting was coming around, I did another collaboration. It was the first time that the Bloods and Crips had ever came together and make a political stand about voting. I knew it was time to do that. It had never been done. It took place right here in this building. It was on Channel 7 News. The story. This building is open to pretty much anybody that has the mind of change. Each one of these organizations that you see here, you know, I deal with in almost an everyday fashion of somewhere. My phone never stops ringing. But we want to let the mayor's office know that, you know, I don't hold him accountable for homelessness and everything. Some problems was here before he here. What I will hold you accountable for is, are you truly trying to help? Because that's gonna reflect in the city. You feel me? So he needs to show up at places like this. He needs to show up at Helen Keller Park. He needs to show up on the east side. He needs to show up, you know, on Jesse Owens Park. You know, these organizations, the majority of the organizations you see here, we do yearly and monthly events with no publicity, no nothing. We're not looking for none of that, but we can't keep doing this every day in our life without resources.
When we was coming up in the 80s, was to be negative, was to be ruthless, to be violent, to be disrupt, to rebel. So now what you see now is the youth, they want to mimic us because we wanted to mimic our OG. So now what you see now, we reversing it. And it's taking time because it didn't just happen overnight. It happened over 50 years. But we just did so much stuff out of this building. We didn't fed. We didn't gave back for Christmas, and we didn't did turkey giveaways, and just, you know, we put our own tools and fuels and nickels and dimes together.
Edith and I's job is to communicate to the mayor the things that are happening in the community. And likewise, to communicate to the community the things and the programs that the mayor's office is putting together so they can take advantage of it. So the first thing that someone had mentioned was we don't necessarily ask I think the first thing we have to do is ask. If you don't ask, we don't know. There are millions of people in Los Angeles who are asking. So if you're not asking, we don't hear you. So when you emailed Anna, I was like, oh my goodness. I called Nichole immediately. I was like, you will not believe who just hit me up, and I didn't even know you yet. Because you asked. Because once you ask, then I know you're engaged. It's hard to work with people who aren't engaged. It's hard to keep finding people who say they'll do something, as the brother said, and then end up not doing it. So when the people come to me or Edith and ask, we know you're serious. Nichole?
So, you know, I've lived in the Southwest area for a long time. I now live out in Alhambra, which I don't like, but you know. I said to him, I was like, you know, there were over 40 shots fired in a week. What? And I cuss a lot, y'all, so just bear with me. I was like, I don't know what the is going on, but there has to be something we can do. Like we work in two important offices. We are Black first, and we care about the communities that we lived in and the communities that we serve through our jobs. So like, what can we do? And I, you not, like 3 days later, he was like, I just met with Carnell Thomas and blah, 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 blah. We understand how difficult it is, and we understand how the laws of this land have like put their knees on us, their thumbs on us, and all of these things that make us not want to keep it. Our whole community deserves to have this. The news deserves to be in this room and see what we are doing. And so I just want to encourage you guys to know that you have us in this room to help build upon and to bring light to what it is you're doing so that the resources that are needed can flow in.
No. A lot of the problem that we see, that I see, is the educational and training disconnect in the Black community, especially with the youth. Because there's a lot of talent, just like the brother right here. He's a, what did you say you are? Electrician. Right, brothers got trades all day. There's the stuff I'm doing. It's not that many Black people. I'm a deputy inspector for the city of Los Angeles. I make over $145,000 a year. There's not, it's a handful of Blacks doing that. But I wouldn't have got this information if another brother wouldn't have came and helped me out. After doing 30 years in prison, and now look where I'm at now. So it's a disconnect with the educational part, just on training the youth.
Can I speak to both of your points real quick? First point, real solutions. By the grace of God, the Ford Foundation emailed me, wanted to send millions of masks to Los Angeles. If I can give y'all 100,000 masks to start, that'd be amazing. February 18th is the day to pick it up. My second question is, are you connected with the LA Regional Food Bank in any way?
Lord, don't you got a food
It's
bank?
hard to get in.
I go through the Church of God and Only Christ. They give me food, you know.
Okay.
And stuff was when we fed for Christmas, the Christmas thing.
Yes.
I made like over 300 boxes of food for people,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So we need to get you connected to the LA Regional Food Bank,
Okay.
who's like distributing thousands, millions of boxes
Right.
to the faith community, to everywhere, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna get y'all in 2 seconds. I'm gonna follow up on this other point that he made about the $150 million and what Edith and I do. Our job is to educate, right? Like, knowledge is power, literally.
That's right.
Here's where we run, is where the rubber meets the road, and when people get tired in government. There's always a process. That $150 million, the mayor had the authority to say, we're taking it from the LAPD budget. What the mayor does not have the authority to do is to say what happens to that money. We have 15 council members who come together to then decide what to do with that money, right? So Nichole got a call, but the mayor, for the second time in his 8-year career, issued a veto based off of what the council members wanted to do with that $150 million. The mayor was like, this is not what people have been marching for, right? It wasn't about to go to the programs that you're asking about.
Right.
So the mayor said, okay, council members, the beautiful thing that they did, a lot of the money went to CD9, which is where we're at right now, council member Price's area. A lot of the money went to Marquise Harris Dawson's area, to the Watts and Harbor area. The mayor was like, perfect, that's equity. They should get more money. But the things that they were putting it towards wasn't going to do what you're asking them to do, right? So the mayor has the power and the authority to say, go back to the table. You got to reevaluate what you're doing. He doesn't have the power to necessarily create that system for you to go apply. So that's why it is important for you to engage your council members. That's why it is important for you to engage their staff. Because the mayor is not a dictator. He's an elected official in boundaries. Okay. With that being said, though, you have to get prepared for the money that's coming from Measure J. Right. Yeah. Measure J is a measure that just passed in 2020 at the county level that says 10% of the county's budget can't go towards policing or incarceration. It has to go towards programs that are prevention-based, that are intervention-based. Okay. They're going to create a system where you can actually apply for those monies. Okay. The hard part about the county, here's the other education part. They know the organizations who do good work, right? Okay. So if they don't know you, the likelihood of them opening up, it gets harder. So you have to have that relationship. You have to have that relationship. Does that make sense?
Sure. My name is Katrina Hudson. This is very personal, so bear with me. This is the year of the Black mama. Not the year of the Black woman, because a lot of Black women don't care. This is the year of the Black mother. Hear me out. I am from Los Angeles, California. Via Watts. My father bettered himself, moved us to 111th off of Dinker and Imperial. I bettered myself and kept going. Our children are in a state of emergency. Our Black boys are dying. The seed is dying. Am I mad? Pissed. I'm gonna hold you accountable because you have been put in position now. And you're a Black male. You walk out of here, the police don't know who you are. They'll handcuff you the same way until you tell them who you are. You're no different. So you're gonna be held accountable. Our boys there's no hope, but there is hope. Through education, through job training, there's so many talented young people out here. I see it all the time. My daughter owns one of the biggest boutiques downtown LA. I see when she comes in and trains these girls to do lashes. I see when they coming off the streets having nothing because mama wasn't there. This is the year of the Black mother now. And we're coming in and I'm gonna start demanding. I'm demanding it. We deserve it.
I took a lot of notes, and I learned a lot of stuff. And we're gonna, a lot of this stuff. I feel like there are real solutions with, getting you guys at least COVID masks, and getting you guys the kind of training into the right doors. Definitely something that we can do.
Well, David and I got a lot of work to do, so we're here committed to do it. We're here to work collectively with you all to learn from you as well, and to bring those opportunities in those resources to make sure that those opportunities are connected to you and your youth as well, and the community members of the service. So we're here to do that. So.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Mr. Price.
Wow. I feel like this is a divine moment on so many levels. I feel God in ways unimaginable. In my city role, I often don't get a chance to talk like this, but this is a divine moment. I just want to acknowledge that. I want to acknowledge that the work that we are getting ready to do is very hard. It's going to take a long time, but we have to do it. We have no other choice but to do it. This is our first conversation of many. This is just the beginning. I have some tasks as I leave this room. The first task is 100,000 masks. They're already here. They're coming. Second task is to get with Najuma to figure out how we continue this community engagement development. Another task is to work with Nichole to figure out how we connect communities who aren't necessarily involved, but they live next door. Right? Another task is start helping y'all raise some money for this event.
Man, get that done, man. We need that. That's on the 27th. That's our collaboration, man, for the Black Mother.
Yeah. And then lastly, it's just to set our next meeting.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
I'm just like really overwhelmed in a very positive way to be here and to see you guys doing real work, because when we talk about a village and how it stays together, it's by the person with the seed, who plants it, who grows it, who makes sure that it's tended to, and that's what you guys are doing in a really real way. I read this book last year called The Spook Who Sat by the Door. And it's about this ice cold dude who infiltrated himself into these arenas and silently sat by the door until he knew the entire game, and then he played it. Wow. That's what we're here to do. You have people who are in these rooms learning the game. You all know the game. And collectively, we change the narrative. With ourselves, by having compassion for ourselves as men and black men and women, specifically. Women for our men, men for our women, and collectively coming together to change the narrative, because it's not what the media says. It's not what history books say. It's what we say in these rooms.